All right, what's up, y'all? We're back. A little quick intermission. Gabe just did his 10 through 6. I will say, like, once again, like all the same guys from 6 to probably 17, when you include the honorable mentions, like it's really a crapshoot. So I can never, like, I have no pushback on any of that. All those guys, there's good arguments for everyone. With that being said, though, I'll get into it. Honorable mentions. So I had like my first honorable mention was Anthony Davis.
Oh
And
my
maybe,
goodness,
Wow.
man.
yeah,
Are
I
you
know.
serious?
Maybe it's unfair, but
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This
I
What?
can't wait to see your list.
post bubble finals, it's been rough, man.
What was he
I
doing
know,
before?
but it's only
though?
been a couple of years.
And even before that, in New Orleans, it was getting bounced like first round, second
But
round,
the
like
stats,
no big moments.
the stats are there though. The
No,
stats
the numbers are there
there.
for sure. The numbers are undeniable. And that's why, like, if you tell me put him like between Anthony Davis and my 10 and my number 9, like, I wouldn't call you crazy if you put Anthony Davis
sure,
9
for
on my
sure.
list or 10. But
Jay came
I
out
don't know. The
swinging.
two guys, I would say 9, 10, and Anthony Davis, out of those three guys, like Anthony Davis feels as if there's still a lot left on the table for him to prove career
I
wise.
can't wait to see your list.
This
Yeah,
is
I
crazy, man.
I figured, especially when I heard Gabe go, like when I heard
When I had him
when you
higher.
had him at like 7, I think did you have him in your top 10 or he was a
He'll be in my top 10 now.
oh
When I
now that
say
you're
it,
doing
it'll
the
be, yeah, I put him in there now
2010s?
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, fellas. He just didn't crack it for me, but you can hear me out. Let me know what y'all think. Number 10, I got Paul Gasol.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of the reasons, that y'all both had mentioned. The dude was, like Gabe mentioned, he was the best player on that 2010 championship team. I don't care
In
what
the
anyone
playoffs,
says. Yeah.
Okay.
Or in that
And-
finals. And he was the best player in the finals,
Yeah,
He wasn't
specifically the finals.
all
Yeah,
year he
'cause-
wasn't, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he,
I feel
facts. It wasn't like just the best Laker, period. But the finals, he was definitely
Greatest
that
Laker
guy.
of all time.
His Paul Gasol magic. But
Sebastian Vulmar.
yeah, man, he got 2 of them things though. He got 2 of them things, and I think what's forgotten about Powell, which I even forgot too. Then when I started looking back and doing the research, he had a little resurgence in Chicago where he was a back-to-back
I'm
All-Star.
telling you, man.
2015, 2016.
Yep.
So Powell was that guy, man. Davis is obviously a much more talented player. He could do way more on the court than what Paul Gasol can do, but I don't know. Paul was in more winning situations, and I feel as if he mattered more in those situations versus Davis in that bubble run.
The bubble run's so tricky.
It's tricky,
so tricky.
man. I want to see him have if Davis has a solid like October to June, boom, like he's a top 5
really
guy.
Good in that final. He was really good in those playoffs.
He was awesome. He was better than Jokic in that Western
Russillo
Conference
would
finals.
strangle you right now, Jay.
He would hate
He thinks Davis and LeBron are the 2 greatest like pairings in sports history.
Which is like, bro, I need more than one fluky bubble Mickey Mouse
Can
here
I
to say
can
all
I
that.
can I ask you guys a question? If you guys shit on people who won in the bubble, why do we shit on the Clippers?
Well,
disaster?
It's not shitting.
We're not shitting.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. You guys are the only people who asterize this bubble championship. But
You say we're the only, or we aren't the only?
You aren't the only.
Okay, all right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I'm trying to say, can't you say the same thing about the Clippers collapse that they lost 3-1? Then you could say, oh, it's the bubble. You understand? But a lot of people say, oh, pandemic P, brick George. So whatever they say. But I feel like if you're gonna say the same thing about Lakers, say the same thing about the Clippers. But again,
for sure.
It's a championship. We give him credit, man. But I will say AD is not looking good for the boy because since that.
Honestly, yeah. If he didn't have the championship, I wouldn't even mention him in my honorable mentions.
I would mention him
just
in
be
the
numbers.
I wouldn't mention because as a talent, the guy is literally he's a generational player. He can guard literally 5 positions.
He's a force.
No doubt. But yeah.
But I don't know. It's the lack of drive too.
With the bubble.
Man. Like,
there we go.
Go ahead, Gabe.
Real quick on the bubble.
Yep.
It's an asterisk only to a point because everybody had a fair shot in the bubble.
For sure.
The Lakers were the best team in the bubble.
Okay.
But it also benefits a team like the Lakers where like LeBron gets
point.
the rest and everything. But I'm
travel.
not saying it's not a valid ring. I'm just saying
a ring is a ring.
A ring is a ring.
The year after that, both those teams were out in the first round.
They were
That's all I'm
injured
saying.
though. Remember, one of them was injured. But
Whatever, man.
No.
They lost game 1 with Davis.
Everything happened the way
He's
it
always
happened.
injured.
He's always injured. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. At this age, you should know your body and dieting. Yeah, basketball.
And now they're not even a playoff team.
Yeah,
They're lucky the fucking play-in exists this year. They
Facts,
might not
yeah.
even make that.
I'm sure LeBron, those comments he made, what was it, last year? I'm sure he takes those back now. But yeah, man, like you could argue Davis could be 10 on my list. You could argue he could
They
be
almost
9.
lost. I'm sorry, I'm being belligerent on this pod, but they
Nah, go
almost
ahead.
lost to fucking Golden State, who weren't even that good last year in the play-in.
It took a LeBron
And the
40-foot
refs-
fluky 3.
Not a Golden State fan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The Lakers benefited from the officiating that game too. And LeBron hit a shot with his fucking dick. With his,
I won't say
back
you're
to the
wrong.
basket from 100 feet away.
You are not wrong. You aren't wrong at all.
I won't say you're wrong. But yeah, Davis, honorable mention. Another one, I won't get too deep into it. Yao Ming, you guys already covered him. Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, honorable mentions. They could have been higher on this list though if they didn't take, because they both basically had a similar trajectory where they was the third banana to a LeBron team. You know, when you sign up for that, bro, that your points are cut in half.
You know,
all stars are gone, all NBAs are gone, because all that goodbye. So, but exactly, the exchange is a championship, so you know you got to respect it as well. Marcus Gasol, Blake Griffin, you know, DeMarcus Cousins. If it wasn't for injuries,
the injury, yeah, man, he
could have been
going
high on
down
this list.
as a good.
Yeah,
damn.
But Boogie in Sacramento, a couple years there, he was like arguably best center in the league, if not number 2. But yeah, those are the honorable mentions. Number 10, Paul Gasol.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I already did him. Number 9, Dwight Howard.
Okay.
9?
I have him at 9. Yeah, and
okay, big fella.
Big fella. Yeah, there's only one Superman. But I mean, Dwight Howard, man, like as polarizing of a guy he is, I agree with you, Namdi. He should have made the top 75. But again, like Gabe said, that there's guys who could have.
I would also lean towards him being on the list.
Yeah, right. I'm leaning towards him. But man, his accolades: 8-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Defensive, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like those Orlando years, and even a little bit of the Houston years, like he was really, really good.
He was like that.
Yeah, and honestly, if it's tough though, because after Orlando, the trajectory he was on was legit, like all-time great big, and maybe the situation in LA derailed that, and the being Kobe's teammate and their relationship wasn't good. Maybe that threw him off. That with the back injuries, like I feel like he could have been a lot higher had his career played out a little differently. But
for sure,
he peaked. His peak in Orlando. Like there's not much bigs who can say they were that good for that that stretch of time. So yeah, Dwight's number 9. Number 8, I got. I'm
say this one, man.
Very interested to hear y'all reaction to this. Draymond Green.
Oh, I'm not against it.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, yeah, like he's not really
tricky.
Big.
That's really tricky, Jay.
Yeah, he's not really. It's a tricky one. He's not really.
Does he play
like
the 3?
Big.
What does he play?
No, he
plays the 4. He's basically the 4, or when they go
That's
small,
a tricky
he's the
one.
5.
That's a tricky one.
He plays 5 in crunch time,
and he plays with the 2 greatest shooters of all time, and then one of the best 10, 12 players of all time for a couple of years too. So it's
I hear it, bro. There's definitely like he's not like stamped like this guy has to be on this list. But when I look at his body of work, 3-time champion, that's nothing to scoff at. You kind of saw it this year. His value when
how important
he made the All-Star
I'll give you that.
He made
when he got injured, bro. Like the Golden State team fell apart. It was crazy. Like this is a team with Steph. They had Clay back. They still have a lot of guys, but you saw it this year when Draymond when he was out for some time with that injury. Like Golden State was not the same team. I know the metrics might say they were still good defensively, but for those of us who like watched Golden State and watched how that team really operates, like he's a big key. He's a big part of that. So, his value I think was heightened this year. The 3 championships, yeah, you're right, Gabe. They were easier considering just 2 of those years was the greatest team of all time, if you ask me. Like just pure talent on the court, shit, even if we're going back to that 2016 finals, fellas.
I was gonna bring that up, Jay.
Not only if he didn't had he not got suspended, I thought Golden State would have won.
Yes.
Not only that though, but Draymond would have probably won finals MVP.
He was amazing in game 7.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with the way he played in game 7. It's a shame they lost.
Yeah.
He's the only guy who showed up on that team.
Yes, 100%.
Literally.
Harrison Barnes pooped his pants. They had Ezeli out there guarding LeBron in crunch time, and Steph was hurt. Who knows? Was he really hurt? I feel like it's one of those things. Great player doesn't play well. They're hurt.
Okay, that's fact. I mean, I feel like what happened had to have happened because remember the year before, LeBron was literally playing with like sticks and stones. Like I literally couldn't name you who he was playing with. So the fact that Warriors won that, I feel like the basketball gods was like, we got to give this to Cleveland. It has to like even out. And
you mean Kyrie Irving wasn't available for like a big time game and series? Are you kidding?
Kevin Love, yeah, that was.
I'm just being a dickhead. It's gonna happen again this year, by the way.
Chill, Gabe, chill.
But he's gonna be a fucking sorry. I have to be in Tibet. Can't show up to round 1.
Chill out, man. 7-Eleven is strong and intact right now.
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven. It's not
but yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like Draymond, he's valuable. He's not as talented, definitely not as talented as any of these dudes, but defensively, he's definitely one of those guys like that is revered. And
definitely,
he was a big part of the championship. So I have him at 8.
I respect it.
7,
I respect it too.
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, I thought you guys would come around to that one.
Yeah.
7, I had Joel Embiid. Gabe, you basically covered all the same points that I would hit when it comes to him. So dominant at that size, what he can do, man. Honestly, and so I like Jokic is 6, and that's my 10 through 6 with Embiid and Jokic. And my number 5, you guys can probably take a guess, but for the listeners, I won't say who it is. I'm sure you guys probably can guess who it is though. But Embiid, Jokic, man, that's a toss-up, but. Like Embiid, man, that dude could do a lot on the court on both ends. Like there's times where I'll always say right now, like if I'm just picking someone who I want a 7-game series, it's Durant. But man, Embiid is one guy where I'm like, yo, this dude, he can go toe to toe with KD. Giannis could too, and Kawhi could, but Embiid, man, like offensively, he's doing turnaround jumpers like he's a shooting guard. When he wants to defensively, I think he could be the best player in the league. But with him, it's like you were saying, Gabe, it's, he's not always healthy. Towards the end of the year, he kind of runs out of gas. And, he has yet to have a championship or an MVP. And I think those two reasons tie into like him running out of gas late into the year. But we'll see. It might be different this year, but Embiid, I think he squeezes in my 7 and 6. Jokic, man, he's probably going to end up, I could see him end up being like top 3 on this list because he is, what he's been doing for that Denver team, man, is ridiculous. Like
a bad.
The dude is a point guard. He's better than he was last year. You look at all the like advanced stats, he's just light years ahead of everyone else. And then the eye test, you see it every night. Like it's him. You look at just a casual Denver boss score, 35, 14, and 12. Another night for Jokic. Like simple shit.
For sure.
Defensively, he got better. He's a guy, but same knock on Embiid. Like he needs to start. We need to see success from him in the postseason. It feels like maybe next year is the year where if Denver gets everyone healthy, then it's like, all right, Jokic, this is a real legacy year for you as far as like how deep you can go into the playoffs and if you're gonna win anything. Like it's hard for me to count that on him this year, just with what he's dealing with. But that being said, he got them as a 6th seed in the Western Conference with Jeff Green, DeMarcus Cousins, who we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, man.
Definitely not the same DeMarcus Cousins. Shout out Bones Highland, but these are guys who aren't borderline NBA players like Gabe mentioned. So
nobody had a problem when Westbrook won MVP with more talent than Jokic has now.
Yeah,
and they win like 48 games.
They were a 6th seed.
I feel like Jokic, man, maybe it's the lack of personality or what. I'm not sure what it is, but it really does feel like he's underappreciated. Yeah, it could.
Well, he has no ego either.
It's a lot. I think it's a lot of different things, but.
Yeah.
Because you'll see him like after the season ends, he just goes to Serbia and rides on carts. Like the guy's his career is actually like not his career, his like lifestyle. I'm sure is something like anything we've ever seen from an NBA player.
Yeah.
And I think that might play into why he doesn't get as much love like from like the mainstream basketball forum. But we appreciate what he does on the court. Guys who really watch the game. So yeah, he's my 6, and that runs out my 10 through 6.
For sure.
Okay. So we can get into the people really waiting.
So do we want to go 5-5-5?
Yeah, we could do 5.
Like now we're gonna bounce around. Okay.
I feel like we're probably gonna have the same 5 guys. I'll be shocked if we don't.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be different.
You think
so? We'll have different orders.
Yeah, different orders, but it'll be the same 5. And then we'll just talk about it. All right, Nam, do you want to go with your 5 first?
Yeah. First, let me now that I reworked my list, I want to mention Joel Embiid is my honorable mention. He deserves it. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't fit him in the list, but he deserves recognition at least.
He's a beast.
Number 5, just to combat people in the list, I have 2 tied. Can we do that or no?
Or no?
Can we?
You can do it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, because I was gonna put you guys convinced me on Jokic. I was gonna put him on honorable mention, but I decided to put him in my list with AD because I feel like AD has a bigger body of work. He's been doing this from like literally the womb. Like literally when he came out into the league, he's literally been doing his double-doubles, 20 points a game, blocking people. I know the wins haven't come. He has the championship.
He do, yeah.
But Jokic has this individual accolades. He's a stat sheet stuffer as a big man. He makes everyone better. So I feel like they're comparable in my estimation. So,
okay,
I put them both together.
All right, so
yeah, Davis. New Orleans. It was a similar thing to Jokic.
For sure,
it was similar where.
Well,
he didn't have the best things around him, and he still took them to the playoffs a few times.
I don't think New Orleans had this much talent. Like if you put all Denver's talent together, Jamal Murray, I don't think Anthony Davis ever had that in New Orleans.
That's the thing, though. I feel like Jokic hasn't had enough time with that.
He hasn't had that at all this year.
Murray, Porter.
No, he's had Murray though. He's had Murray with
and they got pretty far.
Yeah,
the Western in the bubble.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. is the dark horse though, because if he can get right, that's a big 3 in my. Because you have the big man, you have
Campazzo.
The guard. The Campazzo is pretty good too, and you have a wing.
Bones Highland, man.
Yeah, Denver has a culture, man, because they have a great coach. They just locked them up for excess amount of years. They have a big man. They have their second fiddle. They just have and they draft pretty well. This reminds me of like OKC. They just bring in draft picks that are outside top 10 and still pan out. Remember, is it Vic Beasley or Michael Beasley? It's Vic Beasley, right?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Malik Beasley. He's on Minnesota now, but I think they drafted him.
Yeah, they drafted him. Look at him now, averaging like 18 and 20. They had Nurkic.
To even Jokic, to even find him in the second round to go from that to an MVP is
this
insane.
Is crazy, man. This is Aaron.
So, I hear you on that.
All these people, Denver, they'll be all right. I see them win a championship in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Right now, like with Jokic, I'll say like it's been the grace period because it's like he hasn't had a long. He's been so good. So it's just natural for us to celebrate that as like fans watching the game. You kind of you like seeing when the underdog does overperforms. But I think the next few years, if they have a fully healthy roster, the spotlight's really going to be on him. Where it's like, all right, Jokic, like you got the MVPs, you got all the stats, the triple doubles. Now it's time to really see you win. For sure. Big couple years coming up for Jokic, but I think he'll deliver, to be honest.
For sure.
All right, so who do you have at 5, Gabe?
I have, and this guy will probably rise on the list. He's currently playing. And Heath actually ahead of the guy I have right in front of him in my all-time list, or they're like neck and neck. They're like right next to each other. But in terms of being a big man, I feel like the other guy like just is more of a big man, which is weird. It's sort of a cop-out. I just like out of respect to the other guy, I'm not going to put Giannis. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I'm not going to put him off.
He's my 5 as well.
He's a 6-time All-Star. He's a 2021 NBA champ. I think he changed the NBA for the better last year by sticking with Milwaukee, and it benefited him. Everybody called that finals fluky, and now Milwaukee's still good, and Phoenix is still good. Meanwhile, the year before, like I said, both those teams were out in the first round the next year. So, like, I respect last year's playoffs. 5-time All-NBA, 2-time MVP, could be 3 this year, who knows. 4-time All-Defensive, 2017 Most Improved. He's on the 75 team. He's a Finals MVP. And he's been putting up crazy numbers every year. He's averaging 29. He's almost averaging 30 points a game this year. 28 last year, almost 30 the year before, 27, 26. Like, this guy puts up numbers.
And you know what he's going to do on offense.
He's getting better at basketball still. So
facts.
The game is slowing down for him.
Giannis is my number 5.
Yeah, that's my number 5 too. I'm not going to just like repeat everything you just said, Gabe, because I agree with all of it. It's crazy though, because like you say he's averaging 30 the past 2 years. That's so impressive because it's not like he's walking up, pulling up from three, all these different moves in his bag. I guess a lot of like downhill, like just pure like athleticism, which is like for you to still be given 30 like that and you're not really a jump shooter. Like I think that's impressive. I know some people might say, oh, it's easier, but man, I look at that more as an accomplishment and something that should be praised rather than the other way around. So I agree with that.
That man, if you honestly, this might be controversial, but he's on GOAT status, in my opinion, because he's 20, he just turned 27, right?
Yeah, he's young.
He has a most improved, he has 2 MVPs, he has defensive play, he has an all-star MVP, he has all NBA things.
Yeah,
and he's gonna keep, and mind you, he's not even a shooter, and he's gonna reach 20,000 points. If you see his trajectory, he's gonna reach it. So what is he gonna lack? Nothing. This man is literally gonna have every award. Literally.
Nah, you're right, Namdi.
He might even have the scoring title this year. He might. Watch out, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's a world where like he racks up a certain amount of accolades where it's like he's in the GOAT discussion. But I'll also say like there's other guys who like you're on a certain pace if you have early success in your career. Like Kobe had 3 finals early in his career and finished with 5. But if you're looking at like the pace he was on, it's like, oh, Kobe, he already has 3 finals. He's gonna finish with like 9 if he plays for 15 years or whatever. Yeah. So as the dream has ended for St. Peter's, by the way.
I was checking that out. Spanked.
UNC Duke, man. Let's
back
get
to reality.
UNC Duke coming up, man.
The first St. Peter's game I actually got a chance to watch. But yeah, I agree though. Giannis definitely has potential, and he's very durable. That's a scary thing he said the other day about his injury. About like, I hyperextended it or something. Like if I heard it even a little more, my career is basically over.
Just casually drop that. Like what?
Yeah. Like whoa.
Insane.
He bet it all on the title last year. Some other guys might have shut down.
And that's
this
real.
This is a good way to get out of the moment.
That's not like with that fat ass in Philly with his hamstring.
Yeah. Man. Oh man.
Not hard. Not on Embiid. The other.
I know. We got slander coming up, man. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but I don't know. It's just levels to this injury.
Some slander on this pod. Some guys have been caught with some guards have been caught with stray bullets when we're talking about big men this pod.
Man. You're never safe on the hoop chat. But
Jay, we've been too positive lately. That's why.
Yeah, too nice, man. But yeah, man, that injury, like the fact that this dude probably was on a half torn ACL and did that, and then what he did in the finals, bro, like
man.
Against a legit good Phoenix team. Like that Phoenix team, I mean, you see how we all see how good they are this year.
Man. A few things go differently and Phoenix wins.
Yeah, definitely.
But Giannis had an outer body experience, and that's the reason Milwaukee won.
He had like 3 iconic moments. I'm just counting the 17 from 19 from the free throw line as a whole. That's just an iconic moment. Yeah. That the insane block where he's looking at Booker and does a 360 and catches Ayton at Mount Everest and blocks the alley-oop.
Crazy.
And then he gets his own alley-oop on the other end. Like, bro, to do that in the finals, that alone just speaks volumes as to the type of player you are. So, yeah, man, number 5, that's a fact. So, Namdi, who do you have at number 4?
So I pondered on this. You guys had to put Giannis. I didn't include him as a big man. Had I include him, obviously he'll make it. But number 4, going with from this point on is OGs now. It's no current players for
the rest of my guys are OGs.
Yeah. Same. So number 4 goes by the name of Dirk Nowitzki. Yes, sir.
I can tell Jay that we both have him at a certain spot, but go on, Namdi.
This is the greatest Mavs player in NBA history for now because a man by Luka Doncic is playing. So we don't know how long, but for now, yes. Dirk was a model citizen. Dude literally had I love NBA players that have one move that you can't stop and that other people try to emulate it, which is the Dirk fadeaway with the legs out. So definitely gotta give him his credit for that. He changed the narrative on European players being quote unquote soft because Dirk busts people's ass, man. If you watch him back then, man, with his he had a different type of hair back then. But then when he started getting that long hair and the beard,
Savage Dirk.
You couldn't get him. One thing could be said, he had an MVP. It was pretty. He had an MVP when people like LeBron, Kobe, all these people playing, and he still got it. He
Yeah.
made 2 NBA finals. Obviously, he lost the first one, but he redeemed himself the second one. That was one of the weirdest NBA finals I've ever seen because no one, I promise you, you sat there and like, Dallas ain't gonna win this. But they won it in 6. That was LeBron's like worst moment, but that's Dirk's best
For
moment.
sure.
I feel like if he didn't win that, he was gonna leave Dallas. He's definitely gonna leave Dallas. Thing about Dirk too, people don't notice he's one of 8 members to be in the 50, 40, 90 club.
Nice.
And he's a big man. Again, that's pretty crazy, man.
That's impressive.
Very impressive. He never shot less than 80% from the line in his career. That's pretty good right there. One thing when I think about loyalty and longevity, I think of Dirk because literally now we can't buy a player staying in like one team. We're clamoring Damian Lillard for trying to stay on Portland. Can you imagine that? Like he wants to stay for the rest of his life, but we're saying get out of there. Oh, Dirk did it. So I got to give him his credit there.
Yeah.
And I feel like yeah, it's just a killer. He averaged no less than 20 points a game like almost every year he played. He was just a killer, man. That's all I gotta say about Dirk.
Yeah. How you feeling, Gabe? What do you have at 4?
So I'll get to Dirk.
Okay.
But not right now. Because my number 4 is Kevin Garnett.
Okay, we're
close.
gonna have things switched up, man.
It's close. Like it's gonna be even our number ones might be different.
It's really close between those two.
For sure.
Let me bring up Kevin Garnett. It's close between them and then Giannis also. Like Giannis has built a resume that you could argue is better than Kevin Garnett's.
He's there, yeah. He's definitely at that doorstep
for
now.
For sure.
So NBA Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett. These are all Hall of Famers from here on out. He's a 15-time All-Star, 4-time rebound champ, 08 NBA champ, 9-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defensive, 75-team, Defensive Player of the Year in 08, 03-04 MVP, and he was playing at an MVP level in 08. He was playing at an MVP level in 09 before he got injured. Just one of the greatest defenders of all time, and I was arguing with a guy online yesterday or 2 days ago, another Celtics fan who's like, the 08, we talked about this on the last pod, Jay, I think. Oh, the 08 team, they never shut up, blah, 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 the 08 Celtics team. I'm like, it's NBA. I'm like, they went from 22, they had 22 wins, and then KG showed up and completely changed everything. Of course, other guys showed up too and whatnot, and Paul Pierce and all that, but you just can't teach what he was all about and what he meant to a team and their approach to the game and their approach to practice and everything. Like, that shit is so important, and that intensity is so important, and you have to love it. Super skilled, amazing mid-range, like right inside the 3-point line, top of the key. Everybody knows that jump shot. Super athletic, really cool. One of my favorite like mixtapes, one of my favorite like highlight videos is the Kevin Garnett one, or whatever Kevin Garnett one you want to pull up. Really fun to watch. Probably my personal first, second, third favorite player ever. He's up there. And he averaged, let me go to his MVP season, 2004. 24, 13, and 10. Wait, no, that's cap. There's no way he averaged a triple-double. Yeah, 24, 13, and 6. It wasn't about the stats, though.
Yeah.
And, I have a Kevin Garnett jersey. I don't quite have him up there with the next two guys that are in front of him, but I feel he's deserving of the number 4 spot on my list.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's funny because I had Dirk at 4 and I had KG at 3. But
same.
But honestly, bro, like they're tied as far as, well, I guess then I can't say they're tied because we have to, the point of this, so we're not doing ties. But like it's really not, it's like hairs when it comes to the difference between these two. I lean KG a little more just because of what he was able to bring on the defensive end. Whereas, like, it wasn't that much of a drop offensively. Like, Dirk was really elite offensively, but I think the difference between KG and Dirk defensively was pretty big.
Two-way.
But man, like, both those guys was great. Like you said, Gabe, what KG brought, besides what he brought on the court, is really what he brought off the court, especially to the Celtics, like the culture, the mindset, the mentality, like just shifting everything for for the Celtics. Like that alone is something you have to add to his legacy when you talk about him. So yeah, man, like I have Dirk at 4, him at 3. I know I kind of just did both my guys, so I'll let y'all go through 3, and I'll just I won't even say much after that. But yeah, man, these guys are great. Like once we get to Giannis down, like these are all great guys. There's not much flaws we could pick at as to this guy's actually better here. Like, nah, man, these guys are all time greats. So.
For sure.
So yeah, 4 is Dirk, and I guess I cheated a little bit. KG's 3, but yeah, Namdi, I'll pass it to you, man. Who you got at 3?
Yeah, so we had the same thing, 4 and 3. So I won't say much about KG, but just give you guys a little glimpse on him. Being a Celtics fan, I'm kind of biased. That's why I put KG on this list over Dirk. But just watching him every day yell, scream, get into people's shit, man, I loved it. He's so tough.
And it was real.
It was real, bro. He brought culture to us, and he had a big heart. Thing people don't know, KG from 2000 to 2010, this dude literally played less than 70 games in a season twice. Like, he took pride in playing games. So, like now, Luka Doncic, he's sitting for rest, sore knee. Nah, you don't have a sore knee. You don't want to play. That's not really good. But back then, if you're coming to a game to watch someone, they're going to play. So I really appreciate that. And for Kevin Garnett, too, I know he never wanted to leave Minnesota. So I got to give him a lot of credit because it took everything out of him to leave. Like, people had to advise him to leave. He was going to stay and waste his career there. So he's definitely loyal. And when we think about Kevin Garnett, we consider him our own. If you're a Celtics, we literally do. He literally just got his retired.
So a couple weeks ago.
We literally call him our own. So shout out to KG.
For sure. Yeah, man. Like what he brought was so real. It's crazy because you're right, Nomdi. Like when I think of like an all-time Celtic, he obviously didn't accomplish as much, but I throw him right in there. After you got Bird, Russell, Havlicek, Pierce, Kuzi, but KG is like right, like he's probably in that next tier of like great Celtics.
For sure, no doubt.
So definitely a guy who belongs on this list. All right, Gabe. So your 3, I'm guessing, is
Dirk. It's Dirk, and here's why I have him above KG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They were very close in 06.
Yeah.
And some calls didn't go their way. They started up 0-2 or 2-0, and things got weird that series. Come back, have an incredible MVP season, and then of course the We Believe Warriors take them out in round 1, and just being able to bounce back after something so crushing and eventually like pull off one of the greatest runs in playoff history in 2011. That's just so impressive to me, and the perseverance factor and all of that. It's just
that's crazy. A good point.
He showed up at a time where European players were looked at sort of less than, and he kind of changed the narrative on that. He had playoff success his whole career, basically, like not finals appearances, but in the Western Conference, he was getting to the second, third round every year, which is something KG was not doing, with the exception of one time in Minnesota. 2011, who'd they beat? They beat OKC. They destroy LA in round 1.
They swept them. They literally swept them.
Was that when
LA in round 1?
Was it that series when Bynum he just clotheslined JJ Barea at the end of the game? Probably. Remember that shit? And then it was just he just walks off. That was the last we seen of Bynum.
Yeah, basically, right? And then he
takes off to Jersey.
He was on Philly with like a giant afro or some shit. OKC. And who was the Western Conference Finals that year? Was it OKC? Was it the Spurs? There was one.
I was gonna say, was it the Spurs? It was Lakers, OKC. Man, it might have been the Spurs, bro.
Regardless, and then he beats the Heat. He takes out that super team that was thrown together. And then like just the great moment of Wade and LeBron making fun of Dirk for being sick and whatnot, and him just owning them after that.
Loved it.
And his supporting cast was a bunch of some journeymen, some veteran players who were past their prime.
Okay. Everyone was past
together to win, but Dirk was the focal point, and his supporting cast on that championship team was less than Kevin Garnett's in 08. Even though in Kevin Garnett's defense, he gets hurt in 09. they probably repeat because that 09 team is better than the 08 team.
I'm telling you, man.
And then 2010, Perk gets hurt. I end up saying this
I say this a lot too.
2010, Perk gets hurt in Game 7. It's like there's a world where Garnett wins 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's a fact.
But then Dirk, what the world we actually do live in, Dirk, I just feel like his overall resume is just a little more impressive than Garnett. Jay, where do you have Garnett on your all-time list in comparison to Dirk? Because I have Dirk like 8 spots ahead of Garnett.
Jeez.
They're probably like 2-3 spots in between. You know, you brought up a good point though with Dirk with the resiliency, because man, when I think about it, you're right. That 06 that happens in the finals, okay. But then to come back and just get bounced when he even talked about it, he felt as if they was way better in that 07 season. He was way better. Like that was supposed to really be the year like they come back for blood, and then they get bounced again. Like it's to stick with that team, and then you got to go through another 4 or 5 more years, and then you run into LeBron and that whole thing, and you're the underdogs. Everyone's picking Miami, and then to stick it through and see that, like that's something you got to respect. As I pull up my all-time list. All right, so my all-time list, I have Dirk 21 at the 21, and I have Garnett at 20. So literally, like you could tell that even as I was making the all-time list, it was like, man, these guys are neck and neck. But yeah, man, both 15. These dudes are so good. 15, yeah.
This has to be an old list, actually. I'm sorry, guys. I pulled up an old list.
The OG.
This list has changed. Yeah, or like a J, or like pandemic.
Yeah, we was texting each other like 4 players
every
each
day,
Sunday
like
or some shit.
5 guys.
That was fun. But yeah, man, like this Dirk, Garnett, can't go wrong with either guy. Both are great. All right, so number 2, Namdi, who do you have as we close this out?
I got the Big Diesel, man. The Big Diesel.
Okay.
Man,
yeah.
All right.
This dude,
we're in agreement.
Dominant player in NBA history. That's right there. 4-time champion. Dude was literally each team he was on until I guess maybe Phoenix, he was an impact player. He was an impact player in Orlando with straight athleticism. Remember that clip when he like took Jordan to school?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was kind of crazy right there. In LA, man, this dude could not be stopped. He was a dominant force. Literally, you know what's crazy? He was one of the only big men to literally score 60 points in a game, March 6, 2000, against the Clippers. I went to try and check up big men at the time that scored 60 points. The only one I could find is like David Robinson. Like that was not heard of because the big men don't shoot threes, so you can't really accumulate your points too quickly. So I'm like, this, and on top of that, Shaq had a scoring championship for a big man. That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Shaq, there's not really much to say about him. He was just dominant, literally just girth, just killing you down. Remember that footage when I forget the play, the white player, he just like pushed aside after
the guy on the Knicks, right? He throws
crazy.
The ball at Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq, that was literally, he had the eye test and the stats and the championship. Like he literally had everything.
He had it all.
He had it all. So I can't really. He'll be on number 2 because one person is better than him, but he's at where he needs to.
I think Jay, is Shaq also your number 2?
Yeah,
so we can stay on Shaq. We
could just all do our number 2 and number 1 together because it's the same.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so number 1, the big fundamental, man, Tim Duncan. I don't care what anybody says. This is the most underrated player in NBA history. Literally, what you guys said about Jokic is what could be said about Duncan.
Times 10, yeah.
Dude literally he lived his own lifestyle. He would come to work and go home. You wouldn't hear nothing about him. He would just do his job. Didn't do a lot of talking. His actions backed up.
Bummy outfits.
Dude literally had 5 championships. Like he won in the second year.
It's insane.
He was like the best player on that team too.
Oh my goodness. MVPs, final. He literally had everything. He had all the all-stars, and on top of it, he was a great defensive player, great offense. He would bust your ass in the low post. Like there's nothing he couldn't do. He could shoot. He could shoot free throws. He could back you down. He's speed. Like what couldn't he do? This man, Popovich, really was lucky to have. Out of all those Spurs players, Tim Duncan was the dynasty. After Tim Duncan left, were they relevant? I mean, he was still there when they were like challenging the Warriors. You remember? Like
it kind of fell apart after he left. To be like Kawhi started getting weird, and that was really that.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Kawhi had that one great series in
for sure.
season in 2017, which is I think Duncan's first year gone, but after that it was weird. But yeah, Duncan, that Clippers series, that round, one of the greatest round one series of all time, back and forth. Like, there's no shame in like the Spurs were on the losing end of that series, but there was no shame in it.
For sure,
that was really the Western Conference Finals in the first round.
Nah, for sure. But Pete, something like that. I propose for the NBA to do top 16 seeds, man. Something like that. I want to see happen more often. Imagine.
What do you mean? Like
top 16. Take out the conferences.
Take out the conferences. Huh?
You understand what I'm saying? Because think about it like this. Don't you want to see? Wouldn't you want to see the Suns and the Warriors in the finals instead of the Western Conference Finals? You understand what I'm saying, or something like that? Remember,
I get the argument. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Because there was a time when the Spurs and the Warriors were so great, and everyone else was so bad. Or I guess the Rockets and the Warriors, and they're meeting the Western Conference. No, let's let them meet in the finals. That should be the finals matchup there, in my personal opinion. But and Eastern Conference owners,
I like the tradition though. But I hear you.
Eastern Conference owners have too much pride. They ain't gonna let go of the money. Yeah,
travel stuff too.
They're not gonna let go of the money.
Sure.
But
I think it would be more. Yeah, to your point, like. The East is like just as good as the West this year. This would be the year that would be like really interesting. But yeah, I agree. For like, that's my thing with like LeBron. I think he's the second best player of all time. Like, don't get me wrong, but he, like 2011 to 2018, the East was a joke. It just was, and it only recently got legitimate. Like the East was so bad for so long, where like the Celtics, the Isaiah Thomas Celtics weren't even that good of a team. And they were making Eastern Conference Finals.
This is a fact.
Two things, man. Derrick Rose doesn't tear his ACL, and that Indy situation doesn't blow up. That East would have been a lot harder.
I'm telling you, Indiana,
like,
man.
That Indy situation, like people forget, Paul George, like they was young when he was causing havoc with the Heat, and then all of a sudden, like Roy Hibbert was like, they just fell apart out of nowhere, way before Paul George even entered his prime.
Telling you.
And of course, D Rose, we already know that.
And the Celtics still gave him trouble, and like when he first came to Miami, they were there. They were still competing. So
but they were so old. It was like,
but they did as much as they could, man. They took him to Game 7 one time. We should have won that series, man.
Yeah, we should have, bro.
LeBron turned into a demon. That's the only answer. He turned into a demon that Game 6 in Boston. I couldn't have believed it. I was crazy.
Bro, I'll just never forget that overtime game when Rondo had like 40 on all mid-range jump shots. Like, it was a spiritual experience. And it went to overtime. And I just remember D Wade like kicking Garnett in the chest, and he got an and one. It was like, it should have been an offensive foul, but the game was in Miami, and it was D Wade in Miami. So of course it's not.
This is called. When I thought the NBA was rigged, man.
Bro, for sure. That's when I was looking up on YouTube. LeBron travels 5 different times in Game 3. And look, guys, this guy's not that nice. Like, he's traveling every. But I mean, of course, that's us being young Celtic fans. But yeah, I agree with y'all though for sure.
Can I go through Tim Duncan's resume?
Yes.
Let me go through Shaq's resume too, real quick, before just to give him his due. Because I do think Shaq, you look at his resume, he was probably the best player from 99 to 2002. Give it. Shaq has his reign, then Duncan, I think 03 to 07. Duncan's the best overall player in the league.
Yeah.
And it results in 3 titles for the Spurs. And then, Kobe had his time. And
it was like Kobe, LeBron.
Then it's LeBron's league.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaq, 15-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, 4-time NBA champ, 14-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year in 93, 3-time All-Defensive, 3-time All-Star MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, 2000 MVP.
That's insane.
Duncan, Hall of Fame, 15-time All-Star, 5-time NBA champ, 15-time All-NBA, 15-time All-Defensive.
15-time All-Defensive.
Yes.
Two-way.
Rookie of the Year in
That's why he's number 1.
3-time Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, and then 75 team, both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Duncan just always was there to give his team what they needed. And it's funny that we're talking about Duncan right now. I just watched again for the first time in a while his Hall of Fame speech. Do you remember his Hall of Fame speech?
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
It really was
so
good. Like, I got emotional, bro. It was actually fire.
He's a guy I didn't totally appreciate until, not when he retired. I appreciate until the end of his career. Till I was rooting, because I was rooting for Phoenix Numdy I was rooting for Phoenix against the Spurs back then, like you mentioned earlier. But when it came to LeBron, it's like the Spurs, they were the team that could stay in his way. So that's when I would root
for
for the Spurs. And
Yeah.
I didn't totally appreciate him till near the end, where I'm like, wait a minute. This guy is an incredible resume.
Killer,
This
man.
guy is a winner.
A
And
silent killer.
what is the reason he beat? I have him 7th all time. I have him ahead of Kobe. I've ahead of him Shaq.
Same.
And it's because he beat them. He beat Kobe and Shaq at the peak of their powers. Kobe wasn't quite there just yet. He beat them by himself. That was before Manu. That was before Tony Parker in 2003.
For sure.
And then that was the NBA Finals versus the Nets. Like that back then. Like the Western Conference Finals is the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
He almost put up a quadruple double in the finals against New Jersey.
It's crazy.
Very crazy.
Yeah. All facts. I mean, he gets drafted rookie of the year. He's already in the MVP discussion just off like rookie season alone. Like man. What guys just walks into the NBA already MVP discussion? Like, there's very few guys. With Duncan, it's funny. Like Gabe, he was referencing that Clippers, the Clippers and Spurs series, which is definitely
Riverwalk. Reggie Miller.
Amazing nickname, man. And then Barkley will always talk about how the creek is dirty and old. But man, a moment that stood out to me when I think back on Duncan's career is kind of weird. Well, I guess it's not weird if you really know me. You know how much I love Durant, but it was OKC versus Spurs. It was I think it was the 2015 Western Conference Finals. And I remember Ibaka was out the first 2 games. And this is when I was really on edge, where I was like, man, Durant, like, they're going to come for me if Durant, when it's your guy, bro, you're riding with him till the end.
Like the next day at school?
Yeah, bro. You're like, man, if my guy loses, like I lose.
Trust
like,
me, I've been
my week is ruined.
Yeah.
So I remember like that series, like I was on the ropes, man. I remember like, fuck, Ibaka's out the first 2 games. I already knew Duncan was gonna get his just off of that alone. And I remember Ibaka coming back, and then OKC tied it up, and fucking Durant lost his mind. And then that game 7, bro, Tim Duncan reminded me he's that guy.
Yes, sir.
Because down the stretch, like it was dump it off to Duncan, everyone get out the way. This is a Spurs team. Like we've watched the Spurs for years. We know how they play. It's ball movement. Everyone gets involved. But
for sure,
Popovich and Duncan realized like, this OKC team is really talented. So sometimes when you have that guy, sometimes you got to throw the playbook out and just dump it down low. Everyone get out the way. And I remember Duncan just was unstoppable, bro. He had this one little floater above Westbrook, and like they came to double team him. He just drops it right over them. Nothing but net. It's like, man.
I'm telling you, man.
There's nothing like he doesn't pop out. His game doesn't pop out when you see him like some of these other guys. But talk about someone who just gets it done. That was Duncan.
What are we doing if Pop doesn't take him out at the end of Game 6 versus Miami in 2013? He probably gets a rebound. There is no Ray Allen shot.
No,
we're talking about a guy with 6. I mean, who knows? Who knows if they win the championship the next year if they win that one?
Yeah,
like,
but
I don't want to theorize, but who knows if they win both and he has 6 rings? Then what are we talking about?
Now we're talking.
Then
top
are we
3
talking
possibly.
about? Are we talking about? Yeah, are we talking about? Fucking him
Maybe
on the
2.
list with Kareem and Jordan and LeBron. So
he's definitely he's in that.
He's in that.
Yeah, he would pass
if he gets one more.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. I mean, he was so good. Shaq was just as dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq, like, I always bring this up. He was the best player on that 3-peat.
Right.
People are always going to say Kobe,
no,
but like Shaq was the guy in those when the Lakers were, collecting the hardware. So, but Duncan just did it for way longer. It was just more consistent, which is why we probably all have him 1 and Shaq 2. But yeah, man, I guess that's our list, guys. Anything else? Yeah, I don't know. Y'all had any other final thoughts?
Nah, I think we got it consistent with because again, the people were looking for like top 5s. I think we gave them what they really wanted to hear.
You think Duncan, we gave the people what they wanted?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we gave them Duncan.
So
yes, sir. So obviously we switched it around a little, KG, but we gave credit to the OGs, and that's all that really matters. Credit to people who came before you. So
like the young guys are knocking on the door, but I think what we learned while we did this, we recorded this podcast, is like the top of the list.
For sure. There's one guy though, I feel like we didn't even mention. And I feel like let's mention him. Chris Webber.
Yo, so I looked at him, but it
That's a
wasn't
good point.
enough. It wasn't enough.
because think about it like this. This man had especially in Sacramento. This man, you see how Gabe was talking about controversy with Spurs and
0-2.
the Suns. The same thing happened for Chris Webber. They literally, I searched it up, 27 free throws in the fourth quarter. Some teams don't even get that the whole game. So Chris Webber averaged 27.1. That
Stern was disgusting.
They held him. They literally held him. Chris Webber, I felt like if he got a championship, he would be higher. And then
you're right. He should probably be on my list too. I
sure.
probably have him over like Embiid and Gasol.
For sure, man. We got to give credit for him because I feel like it took him
Thank you for bringing that up.
No problem. It took him so long to even reach the Hall of Fame. I don't know why. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? For me, I had to ask people, like older people, how was he? Because, again, I wasn't really like watching him back then. I may have been born, but I wasn't really, cognizant of what he was doing. So I had to hit up some OGs like, yo, how was this so-and-so and how was so-and-so? And they were like, dude was a killer. He was busting people's out. And not only that, he was a part of the Fab Five, man. Can you imagine? So dude definitely should have recognition. Definitely should have recognition. That was my fault, but
I'm fair to bring him up.
Give him his due now.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think it's just the short reign he had where it's like five All-NBA, 5-time All-Star, and that's it.
Yeah, if the body of work was bigger,
he disappears after 2004.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, he really just went
He disappears after. He never makes an All-Star game after 03, and he's in the league until 08.
The NBA is hard, man.
It's hard, especially back then.
I agree.
It's fair though, for sure.
But
all right, we could wrap this up.
Since this is the end of our series, Jay.
Yeah.
Let me just go through my all-century team.
Ooh.
So with the point guard, I would have Steph Curry.
Okay.
At the shooting guard, I would have Kobe.
Okay, no, it's good. It's all century.
At the small forward, I would have LeBron.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And then, since it's this rounds out perfect. Of course, we kind of mixed power forward and center, but I would have Tim Duncan at the 4 and Shaq at the 5.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
So that just feels right. You hear that? Like that's the proper list right there.
Definitely. I would put Giannis at power forward after some years now. Because Tim Duncan really like
Giannis is 6 man right now, but he's coming.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Then that list is fine. That list is perfectly fine to me. I like that a lot. Kevin Durant might creep up a little.
Don't get me excited. Don't get
do you want to do hold on. All right. So we can do first team, second team, third team. Sorry to drag this out, but that was first team. That was all century first team. All century second team would be Steve Nash at the
Steve
1.
Steve Nash?
Same. Yes. Yeah.
Nah, I'm going. Okay. I was gonna say Chris Paul actually.
He was third on my list, but Nash just
he was fourth on mine, but he probably could have been third. But Nash's peak was pretty damn good, and like I just said, like they were very close.
Okay.
And he went through. Paul has some playoff disappearances.
Oh, okay.
He just does. But it's close. If you say Paul, I don't look at you crazy if you think Paul is better than Nash. It's not. That's not a hill I'm gonna die on. It's just how I feel.
Okay.
But Nash at the 1, Dwayne Wade at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3,
okay,
and then 3 and 4. So at the 4 and the 5, I guess.
Dirk Garnett.
Do we want to cheat because they are both forwards, right?
Carmelo Anthony.
He'd probably be like.
Anthony's
15.
not going to make our list. I'm sorry.
14, 15.
I had
because I guess
I had Melo 5 on my small forward list. I had Paul Pierce in front of Melo.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Career wise, come on.
Carmelo. Wait, no. I want you guys to understand. Paul Pierce is one of my favorite NBA players. I am a Boston Celtics fan. I literally saw what this man did for us through thick and thin. But Carmelo Anthony, we can't put no slander on this guy. This guy was almost
no slander.
This guy, man, a mid-range assassin. Like I feel like New York really antagonized what his career was because before he wanted to stay. There was nothing wrong there. Like I remember Denver, Carmelo against Kobe. Did you see that clip?
That Western Conference Finals.
Oh my goodness, man! How he got that title? And you know what's crazy? What if he just got drafted to Detroit? He would have just been claiming titles left and right, man.
Who knows?
That's a good point. He definitely would have had an easier path to Yeah, that's fair. I'm not gonna lie.
There we go, man. But it's all good. I respect the list. Paul Pierce. I'm not gonna knock it. I like Paul Pierce a lot, so I'm not.
This is close. My
yeah, it's all close. But yeah, mine's just the
Paul.
same as yours, Gabe. Same, literally same.
Do you want to read off your third team then, Jay? Because I've done the past two.
Yeah, my third team. All right, let me see. I got my point guard. I think it's Chris Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Chris Paul as the point guard.
No.
Because I'm looking at who I have at shooting guard, bro. And this guy,
see, shooting guard was such a weird pod.
Bro, I had Harden at shooting guard. You don't know how terrible I feel about that right now.
Damn, no Dwayne.
But I guess I gotta keep him above like Iverson and McGrady, right?
And no Dwayne.
Nah, Dwayne is second team.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, me and Gabe's first and second team is identical. Third team, yeah, CP3, Harden, I guess. Whatever.
That's the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, Kawhi is my for the small forward, and then fucking, I guess I got throwing Giannis and Jokic, something along those lines.
About Kawhi Leonard, I feel like. Don't you think Kawhi Leonard hasn't done this for enough, man? Like, why he's
not super high on my all-time list.
Yeah,
sure.
But why is he on the top 70? Like someone like Kyrie Irving.
No, he deserves to be on top 70.
I can't. You can't. Kyrie can't sniff fucking Kawhi's career.
Yeah, no way.
Go and look at Kyrie's. What is Kyrie? And I said this on our last pod, Jay. Again. If you want to say Kyrie can be 75, sure. But like I said, if the guys who really are, there's no debate.
Argument for everyone. Yeah.
He's in that bubble. That bubble. Maybe he could make it. Maybe he couldn't.
He's with the Dwight, the Clay.
Kawhi, there's no debate. Like I have Kawhi in my top 30.
But why? But what separates Kawhi? I just want to know. Like I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to.
Well, first of all, defense. Defense. With the best two-way player of the past like 5 years, arguably.
Probably.
He took Toronto, a Toronto team that couldn't get over the hump forever. He took them
to
the finals
year one.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is where I have controversy. You know what's crazy? When Kawhi Leonard comes, LeBron James then leaves. So now, because low-key, you're kind of putting slander on DeMar DeRozan, saying what you just said.
I am slandering DeRozan.
So think about it like this: if
slandering DeRozan, saying DeRozan isn't half the player Kawhi is, then yeah, I'm slandering him.
But if LeBron now leaves and DeRozan stays, don't you think DeRozan could win the title?
No,
you don't think so?
No, they lose to Milwaukee.
Crazy. They lose to Milwaukee.
They lose to Milwacky in the playoffs. They might even lose to they lose to Philly.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably lose to Philly.
Yeah. Okay, Kawhi, I'll give him that. That playoff run was real.
He's a two-time Finals MVP. He's a two-time Finals MVP, and he was, in my opinion, he was the best player in 2017 when Westbrook won it and Harden came in second. Kawhi, he proved it that playoffs
when he was load managing.
No, this wasn't load managing.
The year before, when the ankle injury in Golden State, right?
Yes, this is what caused that injury caused all the load management bullshit.
He led the league in 3-point shooting that year. I remember.
And fucking just Kawhi. He was the best player. He took that Spurs team very far, and they were up by 20 against the greatest team of all time before he got hurt.
Well,
again,
let's not
saying they're gonna win that series.
He had another All-Star. Let's not forget. He had LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, but Aldridge is an All-Star like Chris Middleton's an All-Star.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not talking about Kobe and Shaq here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, and we saw last year in the playoffs before he got hurt, and that's why he's not higher on our list, is because of injuries and load management, all that bullshit. And he's weird when it comes to giving his team information they probably deserve. But Kawhi the player, like what we saw last year,
when he's on the court,
it's a Luka jerk fest, and then Kawhi shut that shit down last year.
That man, Kawhi, what he was gonna do last year if they didn't tear, I swear, bro, if he didn't tear his ACL, I guess Milwaukee deserved. Yeah, Milwaukee got there. Like they handled the Brooklyn team that was in front of them.
Let's not slander Milwaukee now.
Yeah, no. No slander, because they played the team that was there. I mean, for sure, if Brooklyn is fully healthy, Brooklyn was.
I think this year, the
Clippers probably would have went to the finals had Kawhi.
But I think this year though, because think about it, like Paul George, man, after that pandemic, he really took it personal on the league. Paul George is literally I don't like to say this, but he's like a poor man's KD in a sense, because he has the shot. The defense is literally, it might even be better than KD's. Paul George's defense is like not on par with
it's elite.
It's elite, but it's not Kawhi, but it's very elite. His shot, Paul George and his handles, he is literally like and he has a shoe now. Like this dude, if you want someone,
I have Paul George. Well, I guess I lost them recently, but
you
they're very heavy.
I was gonna say, what's the
basketball
review?
shoes. They're heavy, like LeBron's.
Mm.
I love Kyrie's and I love fucking Kobe's. Those are my favorite basketball shoes.
Kobe's are the best.
That ankle support though, unless you got the long top, high top ones.
I'm hip. That's fair. I like them light though. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair.
But yeah. Well, fellas, I mean, we could wrap this up. This was a blast.
No doubt.
We got into a whole bunch of different conversations we always do. But, that's what makes it fun. I don't know, Gabe, what do we have coming up this week for the people?
So, Jay, I might, and I didn't bring this up to you yet, but I might, and this might be a YouTube thing too, but a little bonus clip, because I don't think we'll record an actual connection episode until Tuesday, Wednesday, because this is going to come out like Monday or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I've been reading One Piece, and apparently the latest One Piece chapter, the past couple have been insane, and I'm approaching them. So I'm going to do a live reading of the latest 5 One Piece chapters, so you can get my live reaction, because apparently it's fucking nuts. So that will be like a 20-minute bonus thing that I'll probably put on the connection tomorrow or the day after. And then, the connection coming up at who we got? Oogie coming up on the pod, or
just AKA James Harden, AKA Tom Brady.
Right, yeah.
But so there we go. That's what we got coming up. This is probably going to be out definitely by late tonight. I'll say late tonight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, late tonight. I want it. We want to have it out Monday morning for the people. Start the week.
That morning drive to work, man. Trying to hear that.
We're men of the people, man. We serve the people on this podcast. But Namdi, thank you for coming on, bro. This was a pleasure, man.
That was
definitely gonna have you on in the future.
Say less.
Gabe, another classic, man. We'll catch up soon.
This was a good series.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for joining us, Namdi.
Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all gonna get my career started. I'm telling you that.
There you go.
No doubt.
Love to hear it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have a good one, fellas.
All right. Thanks, Namdi.
Yes, sir.